if you're looking to go for higher education, such as a master's or a PhD degree, then you would probably be also looking for a professor in whose lab you want to work or under whom you want to conduct your graduation projects. Well, if you are one of those people, you've come to the right place. In today's video, I wanted to address the topic of finding a professor for your higher education. This applies to universities that require you to find a professor prior to your admission process. Some universities would require you to first get admitted, so submit your application, get the admission approved, get your acceptance letter and everything, and then they will assign a professor to you, or they will give you the chance to get to know the professors and choose one. However, if you're going to a university where finding a professor prior to your admission process is an option, then there is a certain process that you should go through. Finding a professor is not so different from finding a major or a specialization or finding a project of interest that you want to work with. Once you've found that, you will probably automatically have the name of the professor you want to work with. So, the starting point here would be research. And I've said this before and I cannot emphasize on this enough, researching is the most important part. Your goal is to find a professor who can fit the criteria and the goals that you want to reach for. All the information you need about the university, about the professors, the laboratories, the majors and the specializations, the projects, the research topics, it's all available on the website of the university. In case there's a piece of information that's missing, then you have all the right to contact the admission, to contact the department office, and to contact the professor himself for the questions. Before you do that, you need to realize the following. Once you've done the research, once you've narrowed down and had the names of a few professors that you want to approach or you want to work with, your contact with the professor or the first contact with the professor will make the biggest difference. When you contact the professor, of course, you're not just going to pick up the phone and call him. You're going to email him or her. And the contents of your email should be straightforward, should be concise, and should be understandable by anyone who reads it. Your email should include certain information that helps the professor to know some basic information about you. Let's say that I want to hire someone, whether I'm a company or a professor. Then in that case, I'd like to know your qualifications. I'd like to know a little bit about your background within the field that you're applying for. I'd like to know your interests. I'd like to know exactly which research topic or which project in my lab or in my department you're interested in. You must include such information within the email. An updated CV is a must. Sometimes a professor would require a statement of purpose or a research proposal depending on whether you're applying for master's or PhD. Always include an updated and a tailored statement of purpose. By updated I mean something up to date, and by tailored I mean that your statement of purpose should directly target this particular professor and the particular research topics that he works on. Avoid emailing all the professors at once if you're emailing multiple professors. Once you have narrowed down the number of professors that you're interested in, then your next step would be to get to know their work. And I have said this before, I think, in one of my videos, and I'm gonna say this again. You're gonna get to know their work by first visiting their laboratory website, reading about it, picking at least 2, 3 to 5 publications maximum and reading them. By reading the most recent publications, you will get educated about the type of work that the lab does. Maybe you'll even get educated about some of the tools they use, some of the equipment, exactly what processes they focus on and what techniques they emphasize on. You're gonna also get to know the standard of the laboratory and exactly what they expect from you if you are joining the lab as a master's or a PhD student. I have to say, this is for the students who are applying for fields of science and engineering. I'm not sure about other fields, and this may also differ depending on whether you're doing a master's by courses or a master's by research. So keep that also in mind. Now, once you've read the publications, once you know exactly what you're interested in, which type of work or which achievement within this laboratory really attracted your attention and encouraged you to approach this professor, make sure you clarify that through your email. The second thing that you will be focusing on, as I mentioned, is your updated CV. Your CV is a constant reminder of exactly what you have achieved. I would say you should have a regular schedule of reviewing your CV, updating it with new skills, new capabilities as much as you can. And always when you send your CV, send your latest reviewed CV. So before you send the CV, open it, review it, modify if needed, save, and send it in PDF format. One of the really important points that I want to make here is timing. The time you contact the professor really matters. Sometimes you will email a professor and months will go by without any reply or any response. You should not be surprised because maybe the time you approach the professor is not good. Maybe it's the holidays, the summer vacation. Can you please leave until I finish? Now here's a tip for you. If you're a bachelor student and you're attending lectures, you're attending seminars, you're attending some conferences, or whichever competitions offered to you, then in all of that, if you're someone who's aiming for higher education, or you think that maybe in the future you'd want to go for higher education, then I would really advise you to always create good relationship with your professors. Being good to your professor, giving your professor the chance to know you personally, will actually increase your chances. Whenever you get the chance to establish connection or basically have a face-to-face conversation with a professor within your field, then just go ahead and do it. Do not hesitate. Show interest in their work, show interest in their lectures or their seminars, whichever they have presented to you. Communicate with them. They are humans, they will enjoy it, okay? It's also good if you know someone within the university who knows this professor. Maybe someone could recommend you to him. This is not a wrong approach. This is not a bad approach. This is actually how the majority of the world works. People usually prefer to hire or acquire capabilities through connections. If I know a friend who knows a friend, and let's say they recommend someone, then I would go with that person, given that I properly review their qualifications. So your connections are very essential actually. People always feel more comfortable hiring or working with someone they already know. All right?